It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielson, Matt Kassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
As Hernan said, the mics are live. The mics are live, and we are live right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. It is Two Guys and a Goalie every Tuesday and Thursday on Edmonton Sports Talk, brought to you by GS Construction. If you are looking for a new gig, you want to take your career to another level, you can do that with the Sandman and his crew over at GS Construction. They are always hiring. As simple as that. Oh, Dusty, don't even ask. Don't even text in and be like, hey, is GS hiring? Yes, they're hiring all the time. All right, there we go. I don't know what it was. It's very strange. It happened on Two Guys and a Goalie. Was it on Thursday as well?
Yeah, it was the last
It
time,
hasn't kicked
right?
out. It almost was the exact same amount of time in.
Yeah.
That is so weird. Just this show, the exact same. What is that? What is that about? Cass, what's going on here? Have we connected to your home internet? What's happening? And now Cass is muted.
Cass is muted.
Classic Cass mute situation.
Oh,
Oh, Cass says he's not muted. Hernan, is that on you? Is that on Hernan? Is he muted? There we go.
I'm not muted. I'm not muted.
Was that on you, Nansel? It was on Nansel. Oh, it was on Nansel. Get the hell out of here, Hernan.
Yeah,
Just
it's
kidding,
not.
buddy.
You know what? We fixed my internet problem. It was an expensive problem to fix, but we fixed it because it was just driving me nuts. And it was horrible and kept cutting out. So we got that fixed. But I think it was a two-pronged problem because I think I always blame the sound and like quality issues. I was like, oh, it's just because the internet is so bad right now. But now I'm thinking it's the cord. So I ordered a new cord because it's a good mic, but I ordered a new cord because it's like if I touched anything on the whole system, I didn't know what was going to happen. Like it was either going to be really, really loud or it was going to be really, really quiet, or it was just like, it was chaotic trying to get that rig fixed. So I'm hopefully it's done, but the internet at least is fixed. So, but by connection issues, that's a good thing.
Yeah, is that mic that you use at home still the one that I gave you during the pandemic for Two Guys?
Yeah, it's a nice, like it's the Yeti. It's a good one. Yeah,
I was just like, man, I think that's the one You don't still use the one that I gave you during that.
No, a listener gave me a new one. I took it as a,
What are you talking about? The listener gave you a new one?
Yeah.
What? I didn't hear this.
It was at the Estes.
Somebody brought you a microphone at the Estes?
Yeah.
What?
That's the one I'm using now. He said he had an extra one. I'm like, really? And I'm like, gosh. And then I was so excited. But then I got, God, do I sound that bad? But again, I used you gave me the snowball.
Yeah,
that's
from
what I used.
a long time ago.
And now it's in my office.
I saw it over there, yeah.
So when I have meetings here, virtual meetings here, I use that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there we go. Hey, funny story for everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, I just got an email, and I want to bring you guys in on this because you were a part of this as well. Hockey Helps the Homeless announced that they raised over $370,000 this year. So that was a good time. Cass, how did your team end up doing in that? I haven't talked to you. I don't think we talked to you guys.
Yeah.
Since. We haven't talked about this.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. We did well. We won all our games, so we dominated.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, we dominated. So with a bunch of good guys, it was a mix of corporate and blue collar, we'll call it.
Good.
Which was nice. So we had the corporate jockeys and we had the union guys.
Was the room separated at all between corporate and blue collar?
I think there was good meshing, which was the whole point. So I was on Team CN, who's one of the big sponsors, the one of the premier national sponsors for Hockey Helps Homeless. So they had like their corporate guys and they had their union guys and the union bosses too. So it was pretty fun, good mix, and I think it was really good for them too. Actually, they had the opportunity to mingle in that for them, like where they're kind of all part of the same thing instead of being in two separate spots. So they had a lot of fun, and we really did. It was a really good group. This was their first year of doing it. So they didn't have anyone in the past to hang out with them to judge it on, like from the guys that they drafted standpoint. So fortunately, I think expectations were low. Now they're going to get like someone fun next year, and they're going to be like, wait a second, that Kassian guy was lame.
Yeah, they're going to try to raise so much more money to move up past your draft range.
Right. They would get someone a little bit more exciting than me, but it was really good. It was a fun time. And you know what? All three of the organizations that they raise money for here in Edmonton are fantastic organizations that I think do wonderful things. So it was always good to be a part of that. And yeah, we had a lot of fun. And you know what? We haven't even talked about this on here. All that I care about at the end of the day.
Oh, Jesus.
You know exactly where I'm going with this.
Of course I do.
From Hockey
all that I care about. Yeah. Is that I got drafted ahead of Gager. That's the only thing that matters.
Well, I mean, technically, Gager got undrafted.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really count.
Yeah. I was in free agency, Cass.
This guy's a UDFA, undrafted free agent. And Gager, so I heard, when we were at Hockey Helps the Homeless, I was between shows or whatever, and I hear rumors that you had a couple chances to bury a victory for your team, and you didn't.
So first of all, Patty from the Ice House was our GM/president, whatever. I don't know if it was the Ice House or Plant Life at the beginning or something, but that's a false statement. He did that just to get a rise out of it. I didn't have two open nets. I had one chance and I ripped it off the post in that game. But it was all fake news.
So this is like that game when you play when you tell somebody one thing and then the next person got like don't they call it telephone? And
no. Patty just wanted to start controversy.
Okay, yeah, because I heard by the time it got to me, it was Gager had two empty nets.
Yeah,
and missed them both.
You know I wouldn't miss.
That's not even what I heard though. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear the other two empty nets he missed. I heard that he had the giveaway in front of his own net that gave the game-winning goal to the other team.
Oh no, that wasn't me either. I was plus. I was plus player out there, Cass.
Okay.
Did you actually keep your plus minus? I do like the idea of you doing that. Hey, how'd Hockey Helps the Homeless go? Didn't raise much money, but I finished +4 in 3 games.
Yeah, I think I was plus at the end of it. So and it helps because being a free agent all goes towards next year, right? Next year's contract negotiations.
All right, you can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. And if you were part of Hockey Helps the Homeless, and I don't actually, just to kind of put the finishing touches on this, I don't even know if I mentioned this on the air anywhere yet. I brought it up with the boys after, but we had the draft night. They do the live auction.
Yeah,
and I bid at 500 for the one of the billboards.
Yeah,
and I was like, we could have some fun with that from a bit perspective.
Yeah,
like, what do we put on a billboard? So I bid on the billboard at 500. And then I never bid on things. So I panicked. I panicked after I bid on 500 because I didn't want to get in a bidding war and then spend like $1,000 on a billboard. And it's just a billboard for 1 month, one of those Pattison digital boards for a month. And, but I know in the past, it ended up going for $575. So I could have bid once or twice more. But I know, but I got too nervous for the bid.
600, you could have done it. You could have done it at 600.
No, so what I did, because I know in the past they can get a second one.
Oh.
So I went up to Linda, Ronnie Lowe's wife. I went up to Linda and I said, if you can get another billboard at $575, I'll take one.
Yeah.
And so I got one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
nice.
So we get to use it at any point over the next year for 1 month. And I can't wait to see what we could, like we could do 2 months of content of like what to put on the billboard. Yeah. Submit your graphics for the billboard. Yeah. I personally, selfishly want to save it for church and just do a month of Chin Strap Awareness Month on a billboard. But me, Charlie the Chin Strap Penguin, Chin Straps. I think that would be funny.
That would be funny.
I got us a billboard from Hockey Helps the Homeless.
You could have a draft of ideas for that billboard.
For the billboard. There's actually summer bracket.
Summer bracket. There it is.
EST summer bracket for the billboard.
I like it.
God. Okay, I like that.
Are you gonna do like a full 16?
Oh no, we'll probably do 32, Cass.
32?
Yeah.
We'll take 32 ideas of what we put on the billboard, and then we'll do the billboard, whatever wins.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, this is great. Oh, that's very exciting. I knew we'd come up with a good idea for that billboard.
Yeah, Charch is one. You got the win, right now is one.
Right now we'd have to activate that right away. It'd be a tough one.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of Tombstone Tuesday thing.
Oh my gosh.
There's a bunch of different things we could put up on a billboard.
Put Renee up there.
It's just hi, I'm Renee. Listen to Edmonton Sports Talk weekdays from 6 until 6. KB over in the chat says 100% Charlie the Chin Strap Penguin billboard. Well, yeah, you see what I've done with Charlie? Hey, you see this? I got him in his own case now.
Wow.
Because he was in my drawer, and I said, well, this isn't fair to him. So I picked up a hocky puck case, and Charlie the Chin Strap's now in there.
Perfect.
So, we'll see. But can you imagine like a drawing of this thing up on a billboard with like some pictures of Chinny?
What?
Yeah.
That's good.
Who the hell are those guys? So anyway, that's something. We'll be doing a billboard bracket, and we'll work our way through the summer on that one, which should be a lot of fun. I don't know if you could do this, but Spency 5 Spency says you should just put a live feed of the nasty chat on the billboard.
Ooh.
They might be able to have the technology to do that. Or somebody can write a basic script that you just take that chat and throw it up on the.
Can you have live stuff just on there?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm very curious about it. This is our first time dabbling in a billboard.
Imagine just having the whole show on there for a month. Just on YouTube. Just
whenever it pops up, we're on YouTube talking.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. I'll have to check with the lady and see if that's.
It would make sense, right? I don't know.
That would kind of be cool. It rotates through, then we're up there for 30 seconds, and then it pops back off. Omicron 19 says, I'm sold on the Charge billboard. Close the competition. We have it for a year. We get it for a month. So, yeah.
You know what the problem is with the live feed, though? If it did the live feed, is that my internet's going to cut out at some point. If it's me that happens to be up there for any one of those days.
Yeah. Frozen.
So,
we'll blame the billboard. Yeah. It's the billboard's fault. It's not our fault. All right, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999 is where you can get in today. All right. Cass, we got to give you the floor here. Stuart Skinner shutout, Game 4. We'll get to some of the numbers on Stuart Skinner in Game 4s coming up here with our number cruncher segment. But your thoughts on his play last night?
Yeah, well, it's amazing what happens when you actually play half decent in front of a guy. Like he made a couple. He made the key saves, right? If you want to call it that, breakaway in particular, mini breakaway by Barbashev. So it's like he made the key save. They're just the one save that you need that people are always harping on him about. And guess what? It turns out that not giving backdoor tap-ins and a goalie's save percentage goes up. So did Stuart Skinner play better? Yes. Did the team play much better in front of him than he has had for all the other games, all the other 3 games he'd lost in playoffs? Yeah, absolutely. Like I don't think he was great in the first 2 games against LA. He wasn't. I don't think he was great game 3 against Vegas. He wasn't. He was just okay, but he was solid again today. So I don't know. I just people overreact. It's true. It is very true. The Skinner scapegoat syndrome is real. It's a real thing where people just are looking for someone to be angry at, someone to blame. And generally it falls on his shoulders. And there's lots that I don't think should. And I think he knows it too. And that's why you hear him in the media in the scrum post game yesterday being like, whoa, why is someone talking about something out there? Because he knows that people just freak out about it and jump all over him. But rock solid game from Skinner, even better game from some of the other guys around him. But hey, he was solid. And he's done that in the past. For all the people that are like, Skinner's an automatic loss. Well, it got you within a goal, really, of the Stanley Cup. So let's chill on that talk. Hopefully that's calmed that down. And it just is so interesting to me how all the people that are just losing it about Skinner, generally, in the Nasty Chat post game, all of a sudden it's just ghosts, quiet, nothing. Aside from 1 or 2 people who are like, hey, I was wrong, which I appreciate because they're like, hey, yeah, I thought he was going to play horrible and wrong and bad, and he didn't. But there was like 2 people that did that.
I think Cass hit the nail right on the head at the beginning, though. The team played so well. Like, as long as he didn't let in, a crazy weak goal or 2, you were going to be good in that game, right, Gage? How much, what did you see from him different in game 4 as opposed to game 3 outside, if anything, outside of the way the team played in front of him? Usually when a goalie gets a shutout, it's a direct result in the play of the team in front of them too, right? They're making things a little bit easier on them. That's true, yeah. Right? Like right. I've always felt that, and maybe this is because I didn't get a lot of them, that a shutout was more of a team stat than an actual goaltender stat. Because look, a lot of things have to happen. Sometimes a little bit of luck's involved too. But what stood out to me was the fact that, and I made a joke. It looked like at times in game 3 that Stuart Skinner didn't take his skate guards off, right? He was swimming, he was falling down. In this game, it was way more composed. Not a lot of extra movement that had to be done. There was one shot that was kind of similar to the Carlson goal from the game prior, where he moved across and it hit him right in the chest. Yeah, he took one off the shoulder there, short side too. Yeah, his just composure of using that big frame was 1,000 times better. And maybe that was, you really look at it, he hasn't played a ton over the last little while either. That's true, right? So that's another thing. It doesn't matter how comfortable you feel in practice and things. Going from practice to games it's night and day. So he looked comfortable. He looked composed. And the big save off Barbashev, I think, was a massive confidence builder, where he made that save look really routine, went 5-hole. He put the rebound in the corner. Just great performance. I thought it was excellent. Let's get to over the chat. Statue Bosch Productions says he was calm and controlled. They can win with that goaltending. They couldn't win with his first 3 games, including poor team play. And that's there's so much talk about the Oilers, their goals for percentage with expected goals for percentage. Was it goals for, expected goals for? Anyways, like 60 with Skinner in net and 40, or 60 with Pickard in net, 44 with Skinner in net offensively. And people say, the confidence that they have in Calvin Pickard allows them to be more aggressive offensively, which I was trying to get to the bottom of it. I didn't really believe it yesterday. And I think yesterday squashed that. How good did that team play? It's not like they were worried about Stuart Skinner back between the pipes. They just came out in the first period and said, guess what? We're taking this game tonight. And they did, Cass.
To me, it's so ridiculous. Like, that argument is so ridiculous that they just play better in front of Pickard and that they don't trust Skinner. And that's the reason why this, because you could see, go back to the LA series, you could see games in that series, even games that they won, where they weren't very good at the start of the game. And guess what? They were down a couple goals because Pickard let in some soft ones too. But lo and behold, they snapped out of it. They found a way to battle back, and they played much better. Like, they're in this playoffs, there have been two games now that maybe 3. We could argue 3. Sorry, I guess you had one in the LA series too. So 3 games, 2 in this series where they've played well. like where they have played to their level, where we're like, oh yeah, this is the Edmonton Oilers teams that we think could potentially win a Stanley Cup. And yesterday was one of them, and in front of Stuart Skinner, and the other one was with Calvin Pickard in net. Like where you in game one of the series, you just like it falls apart for me because this team has just shown too much inconsistency on a night-to-night basis, regardless of who was in front of them. Now they're starting to get better where they're finding a little bit more here in the playoffs and they're hitting their stride, but it's just a baffling argument to me to trust or they don't trust Stuart Skinner, because I think it's just not true. And I think if we were to look back and over the course of the season, I don't think that's true either. The reality is this team has had their spots and moments of complete inconsistency. Like having Stuart Skinner in net doesn't force Evan Bouchard to try to backhand a pass to the slot. He's right on a guy's stick for a goal. Like
unless Skinner was like, Boosh, right here, up the middle.
right. Like it doesn't do that. And so to me, it doesn't make sense.
Zedmo over in the chat says, I'm not saying he wasn't better, but all the pundits have been honest about him. He was crap for quite a stretch. Now, here's what I want to say about this, because I talked about it a little bit in the lock shop and somebody chimed in and said, Dusty, I think you had the right take there. And it's nobody, I mean, maybe Cass sometimes, but nobody is saying that when Stuart Skinner plays poorly, it's not like people in the market are saying, no, he was amazing last night. To me, what the issue is that when they lose and he's in net, nobody else it all falls on him all the time. And there's a certain level of criticism that he certainly does deserve, because he hasn't been great this year. He's been good at times and he's been less than good at times. But to me, it gets to another level that isn't necessary. You know what I mean? Like the team was awful last game and there were people solely hanging that loss on Skinner. Did he help them win? No. Was there a couple of goals he should have had? Yes. But did the entire team probably play their worst game of the playoffs? Yes, they did. So you can't just hang. Like that's where it gets to me is it's like, oh, they lost. I don't care if Draisaitl had his worst game in 2 years, and I don't care if Darnell Nurse laid on the game the entire ice. This entire loss is on Skinner. And to me, if you want to criticize Skinner when he deserves to be criticized, that's fine. But I don't take your opinion at that level how I should when you go so far beyond. And to me, that's what's the frustrating thing about it. Does he deserve criticism sometimes? Yeah, he certainly does. But it's like every goal he allows he should have had it. Pickard would have had a shutout. It's like, calm down. He needs to be better, but you're getting carried away.
It's a Skinner scapegoat syndrome. It really is. It's a real thing. And it is exactly what you just finished with there, Dusty. It's that they're like, oh, Pickard would have had everything. He would have had every one of those backdoor tap-ins, cross crease in a 2-on-1.
That's just not true.
And that's just not true. It's just not true. And, to those who are like, oh, well, Skinner just lets in the deflating goal. And it's like, I would say the same thing. Okay. That deflating goal on a backdoor tap-in, or after he made the first 2 saves and there's a rebound sitting there and the defenseman doesn't pick somebody up, that's not on him. But in Pickard's case, he gets forgiven for that. It'll be like, oh, it was Bouchard's fault. Oh, it was Nurse's fault. If it's Skinner net, it's like it's Skinner's fault through and through. And critiquing him is fine. I mean, I critiqued him in game 3, and I think fairly so. I know what he was trying to do, but I didn't like his push out at the end of the game to try to take away the time on the game-winning goal. I didn't like that he left his net on that. There's lots of things, and when I don't like a goal or I think it's soft, I'll say I think it was soft. He needs to make that save, but it's just the level of just loathing and it just loses all rationality with how much people blame Skinner versus the rest of the team when things go wrong.
Well, and then we get carried away from what the legitimate conversation should be about Skinner sometimes. Let's actually break down the one really bad goal he allowed, as opposed to saying, well, he shouldn't have allowed any of the 4. Well, guess what? You're not going to get a shutout every single game, unless, of course, Troy Stetcher's in the lineup, and we will get to that. Gage, is this just the life a goalie has to deal with? Is this just how it is for goalies?
I've said it before, Dusty. Edmonton's been blessed with such great goaltending in the past, but they're just used to perfection. Yeah, right?
But not in the 90s, according to Zach.
No, he doesn't even remember them. Well, he wasn't born. I blame that, but I don't. Yeah, there's so many things that lead up to chances against, right? There's something that probably happens in the offensive zone that leads to the chance against that if it was cleaned up properly, it wouldn't even result in it. It's just I mentioned it before, the timing of goals that sometimes go in magnify the goal allowed on the goaltender, a tie game or within the first few shots of the game. So it's looked at as always not ready. But Stuart Skinner, his play is a direct correlation of how the team plays. And you could say that for basically most goalies in the league, aside for a few that are considered to be amongst the elite, right? But like I said before, this morning on your show, Dusty, the fact that both these guys have played and gone in and feel comfortable, and I don't think the team cares who's in net. They respect and they have faith in either guy, sets them up perfectly where, in the case of, I'm just going to throw this out there, like Winnipeg, Hellebuck hasn't looked great on the road or something, and his game hasn't been perfect. And wouldn't it be a luxury to have, if Comrie had more success or maybe a little bit more time, to give Hellebuck just I know it's the playoffs, but maybe a breather, that you have faith in that guy that's going to go in and he's able to get you a game. But I guarantee they don't have the faith in Comrie to go in against the Dallas Stars and give you a performance that you could probably get a victory. Whereas here in Edmonton, if you see a little bit of a slide in, say, Stuart Skinner's game, there's no hesitation now that you can go to Pickard and know that you're going to get a good goaltending performance.
All right, we're going to continue with the goaltending conversation. We'll come back around to Skinner in a second. I do want to get to this one from Trevor and Airdrie. He says, regarding Skinner, I almost want Skinner to be the cup-winning goalie just to spite Steve Lansky, who's on Twitter as Big Mouth Sports. And I bet you I know exactly what he's talking about, because in that last game, the game 3 winner, and I don't think I follow. Maybe I follow Lenski. Anyway, these are the guys that drive me nuts the most. He go on that game-winning goal. He's, nice job, 74. Stay in your goddamn net. And we're in overtime. Tell me again how he's a good netminder. I'm so sick of reading that crap on X. So one guy replies and says, Draisaitl put the puck in his own net. It's Skinner's fault. Be better. And then Lansky replies and says, who said it was Skinner's fault? He goes, I pointed out things he did wrong in the play. It was several players' faults. Be smarter. So it's just like, that's an all-time bad look. I was going to get into it on Twitter, but I was like, I'll just step back on this one.
Back away from that one.
Yeah, just step back. I mean, that's the kind of irrational stuff that you see, though. Okay, but the real conversation here is, as good as Skinner was last night when called upon, and he was called upon less than some other games because the team was so damn good, and we'll get to the rest of the first period, but it all sort of ties in here. Gage completely off the rails.
Yeah.
And he slashed Hyman one time. He tripped and sucked in the official on the Janmark one. Then he completely attacks. What happened to that guy last night?
Yeah, he let his emotions get the better of him. And I think it affected his play. He calmed down later, but the Oilers found something there. And if you watch closely, there's a lot of chatter too. I think Henrique skated by, said something, and you could see the hammer hand reaction, him looking at him like, what did you just say? Like he was rattled by a lot of things. And it worked. Yeah, it worked. He played okay, but I love the fact that the Oilers have that dark arts game to try to get the goaltender just thinking about something other than stopping the puck, I would say. But you could see it when in the second period too, Hyman goes to the net with a defenseman where the defenseman kind of pushes him and the net came off and Hill was like shaking his head and skating out at the whistle and looking at the ref, and that was a sign of a unfocused goaltender.
Yeah. It's crazy how fast they got to him.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't feel like there was a buildup to this. It's not like we've seen him get bumped multiple times and kind of start to get into it and go into the refs and kind of losing it. It's like, it was just all of a sudden just snap like that. But he initiated some of that too. And that's the thing to me that says, okay, he wasn't really on his game, or he was losing that focus, because like you look at the Janmark where he sticks his leg out, like he's trying to trip him.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
trying to instigate it. Like, it's not even like he just got bumped 3 or 4 times and was like, no, this is it. I'm done. Like, and just lost it. It's like, no, he initiated some of that. And
is that just the early goal cast? Like Henry scores early and he'll just becomes rattled? Is that
just,
it? Like,
just rattled?
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be. I don't know what else it could be because we just haven't seen him get bumped earlier in the series.
Well, even when he kind of pushes Hyman to the side, right? That's just Hyman going to the net hard. I don't think there was any ill intent there, but he kind of lost it right there, right at the beginning, which probably should have been it's not a penalty, but yeah, it was fascinating to me that he lost his cool because you've never seen that from him.
I didn't think so. I mean, we were talking about in the last series that sometimes you can get Kemper off his game by getting in his grill a little bit. And I thought he held up pretty well.
He did.
And Ian Hill just imploded. And the Oilers just kept bringing it and bringing it and bringing it. That first period. When was the last time you saw a first period of hockey like that? That was awesome.
No, that was that must have been something being in that building witnessing that.
Oh, buddy, it was incredible.
The volume was turned up to an 11 on that one.
Marsh was just in, like, when Kane scored, he jumps up. I grabbed his popcorn from him because he was just like, so I grabbed his popcorn. Give me that. And so he's cheered. And then I said, look, there's a fight in the corner. And he's like, oh my God. You know, he's just, he was in heaven, man. He was time of his life last night at that game. Just so incredible.
But the series is so weird to me too.
Okay, in what fashion?
First, game 1, Oilers are the much better team.
Mm-hmm.
Game 2, Vegas is the better team. Pickard plays unreal. Game 3, Oilers are terrible. The Knights are unbelievable.
Yeah, every game's different.
Game 4, Oilers are just man for man, just great. And I didn't find that the Knights were there. So it's so weird how you see a game where it's, back and forth, or some team it's a more even battle. Like, I don't think we've seen both teams play their best at the same time in this series yet. And so it makes me like, who's the better team overall?
Can I propose this though for that, Gager?
Propose.
I think you
I do, Cass. I do.
Yeah.
He's in, and I will marry you two together as whoever that guy is that does that.
Yeah, it's such an interesting conversation, right? Because it's like each game has been so different. Like, it hasn't been like two teams at their absolute best just going toe to toe every single night. But I'm going to propose a theory here. And we kind of talked about this before the series a little bit. And I've said to you guys, I've said to Tommy, I've said to other people, and there's people in the Nest chat all over that, we've all heard the phrase Oilers are going to Oiler, right? Like, where, when things go wrong, generally it's not something the other team does so well. It's just the Edmonton Oilers falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
It's just them making big mistakes. But I would propose to you this would be my theory on that. Why we haven't seen that is, I think the Edmonton Oilers, when they're at their best, it is extremely difficult for another team to play their game at their best level because of the pacing of the Oilers and the offensive threat of the Oilers and their ability that when they are clean in their own zone, exiting and transitioning the puck, they're always in your face, and it becomes very difficult to generate anything offensively because you're just always on your heels and always defending. So I don't know if it's possible to see the best game from the Edmonton Oilers and the best game from the Vegas Golden Knights in the same game. I don't think it's possible to see that, like, for a full 60 minutes. Now, you might have spurts inside of a game because there's always momentum where, Vegas is better for a little bit, Edmonton's better for a little bit. But I think if Edmonton plays at the level they're capable of, I do not think the Vegas Golden Knights can play with them. I do not think they can. If both teams are at their best, Edmonton is dramatically better than Vegas.
And so that's what you're saying. It won't look like Vegas is even at the best because they don't have that same level.
They don't have the same level. Exactly. Thank you for summarizing what I could have said in about 5 seconds. So,
are you just saying Vegas' best isn't even close to the Oilers' best, and that's why it doesn't look like both teams have their best? Is that what we just got, Cass? I think that's what we just got.
Yep, exactly.
Is that why the Kings play that way against that's the only reason, just complete defensive shell and just hope to counterpunch?
The Kings?
Yeah.
because they know that their best
isn't close.
Well, that's an interesting way to look at it.
I don't know.
A quick one on just back to a question on Skinner. Somebody said, Gager, do you think, and you're the one to ask on this, do you think he settled in because he knows the net is his for the rest of the series?
Oh, no.
No, not at this stage. Not at this stage of the year.
No, I
didn't think so.
With what he had to endure, I think over the last few weeks and getting himself ready, he's not even close to thinking about who's going to be in the net the next game. He just it's period by period, I think, for Stu Skinner right now. Right, just have a solid first period, and we'll go from there. It's not no look to the future at all.
Do you guys think that it's helpful that if we look back to playoffs last year, gets pulled from a series, gets put back in later in a series, plays really, really well? Like, do you think going through that experience and now this to an extent where it's like he's pulled from a series, doesn't play for a little bit, put back in, first game was shaky, but now he plays well later in his series, game 4 on. Do you think he's going to buy into that? Or Gager, maybe you can answer this. Would you as a goalie, would you buy into that? And that, hey, this is what I do. If I get pulled, I struggled, but I can come back in the playoffs late in the series, win the series and kind of carry us forward?
Well, I'd have to say yes, because what do we talk about? Experience all the time, right? They've gone through these trials already. Stuart Skinner's had kind of the exact same thing happen, although not for that length of time. But he was taking out. The other guy went in. He had a chance to reset himself. So it's not something new to him. And obviously, then after that, found his game and was one of the best players afterwards. So it's kind of history repeating itself for him, and it's something that he's can draw upon past experiences to help him get through it. So yeah, I think it's a huge advantage that this has happened before to him. And I think just when you look back at the whole regular season, I mean, how many times did we talk about how I was surprised that they went to Pickard in this situation when it looked like Stu Skinner's game was getting on track or he was playing well, and they went to the other guy, and I thought, well, why don't you go back to Pickard again? Because he played like it was. I think there was a method to Knoblauch's madness to have these guys in that mindset where, I could come out, but I'll go back in and I'll be ready.
I just have to say, I'm really enjoying this conversation today. You guys are doing an excellent job. I think this is a great hockey conversation today. If you are watching over on YouTube, hammer the thumbs up for us. And hey, you can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. We are just 18 likes away from hitting 100 here. So that's nice as well. Let's dive into Number Crunchers. Brought to you by Play Alberta. Make your bets count for you and everyone else with the Play Alberta app with hundreds of player prop bets on the biggest leagues, NFL, CFL, NHL, NBA, MLB, you name it. You're not just playing for fun, you're supporting the province. Play Alberta revenue helps fund Alberta programs and services. Deposit today with the code YAG50 and get an EST exclusive $50 free bet when you get started. So deposit a minimum of $5. Use the code YAG50 and you get a $50 free bet. We've got our EST specials page over at playalberta.ca. We'll continue to populate that. I believe we have 3 up there. Yeah, we did lock in our lock shot partner parlay from the last show. Mark Scheifele with a point tonight. Cleveland Cavaliers to win. Jamal Murray, 20-plus points, plus 310. Dallas Stars to win tonight with a Rantanen plus player at plus 320. Shutout Wallman got the plus last night. We screwed up the rest of the parlay, but he did get the plus. Okay, so I got to run these numbers by you, Number Crunchers, and then I want to get around to the physical tone that was set by the captains and stuff in last night's game. Stuart Skinner in Game 4s in his career now is 5-0 with a 1.32 goals against average, a .953 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. That is the best goals against Game 4 average in the history of the National Hockey League. Nobody has ever done it better in a Game 4. Gage, you're just sitting there shaking your heads.
Yeah, it's amazing when they flashed that and the names that were on there. I'm like, holy! And
he was like number 5 before last night.
Now so now he's number 1. I mean, it's such an interesting statistic because of the Game 4. Right, it's usually a crucial time. Game 5, I would say, is the biggest, one of the biggest. But to have those types of numbers where, you can make such an impact to a series just tells me that as the series progresses, Stuart Skinner gets better and better and gets more dialed in. It was an amazing statistic.
It was suggested to me, Cass, today that they just start Pickard for the first 3 games of a series and then Skinner gets games 4 through 7.
May not be a bad idea. May not be a bad idea at all. I mean, it is impressive. I'm just surprised Hellebuck's not on there. Right?
Helly's nowhere to be seen on this list. I love this person over the chat. I said he's 1.32 goals against average and a 953 save percentage. Petter's Pancake says that should be a 965. Which is funny as well. That is the number crunchers for Play Alberta. Cass, am I going too far in saying that I know it's more than just one period, but I sure felt like that first period last night was the Oilers just being like, we're taking this series. It's ours now. Sorry, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it was a little bit of screw you to their game. There was just like, yeah, no, this is ours. Yeah, you guys think you had some momentum from yesterday? Nope. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was artistic. That Vegas pushed and Edmonton just threw up the finger to the wind and said, nah. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna stick it to you, and it was great. I mean, it was entertaining. It was fun. It was exciting. But I think for the Vegas Golden Knights, it's like, oh, well, you can throw everything at them. You can try to intimidate them. You can try to physically dominate them, and they're just gonna push back. And actually, they're gonna be the ones that are gonna initiate a lot of that because the Edmonton Oilers physically were way more imposing their will on the Vegas Golden Knights, particularly in that first period, than the Vegas Golden Knights did. Like it was fantastic, and players did a great job of that. Kapanen stepping in the lineup did a fantastic job of that. I didn't think, or didn't expect much from him.
I was like, wrong on Kapanen. I was like, what are they doing? I was absolutely wrong too. Yeah. Absolutely wrong. Damn, man. God.
Yep. What a great game for him. But Kane was around it in it and doing what he does well. Like. Frederick was, he has the fight, but he was in and around it. It's just like everyone. Perry was in and around the net again. Like Henrique was around it. Like it's just that, and the Vegas frustration kind of is summated in Aiden's Hill response that we already talked about. So it was a beautiful thing. I love that physicality, and I love just that mentality of, you know what, screw you guys, we're gonna go win this thing.
For the first time in that game, it looked to me on the faces of their core group, like looking at when they panned on Stone's face, especially Pietrangelo, they were done in that game. Like they was
beat up.
They were physically done. Let's move on to the next. They had completely checked out.
He blocked that one shot, got up and got hit right away. And I was like, oh, this poor guy.
He was looking to get me out of this.
He's got his cup.
Yeah,
he's played for Team Canada.
Yeah, that was the first time I've seen them actually wave the white flag. Not that they did it for the series, but in that game in particular, it was they were no mas, as they say in Vegas.
All right, let's answer this question. And there's plenty of options. What was Knobloch's best roster decision yesterday? You've got Stetcher coming in. You've got Kapanen not only coming in, but playing with Podkolzin and Draisaitl. You move Kane, who'd been playing relatively well, out of the top 6, put him down with Adam Henrique. I mean, there's a lot of different things to discuss here. Cass, if you had to have one of those as your favorite adjustment from Knobloch yesterday, which one would it be?
Oh, man, this is tough. This is actually legitimately difficult.
We only ask the most hard-hitting questions.
The most hard-hitting questions.
I feel like I'm on.
I am going to go with Stetcher into the lineup because I think Darnell Nurse has really, really struggled. And to me, if you were able to balance him out and to maybe take a few minutes away from the top 4 guys that they're playing, I think you end up in a better position
could
overall.
Be huge,
and I think that happened. So I think that was the biggest one to me. But that's really hard, like because some of those.
Other Kane and Henrique combined, they had 3 goals. Now the one was from McDavid for Kane, but those guys played well together.
I like Cass's because it's longevity. Like you're thinking long term with this and distributing some of those minutes for those D-men a little bit more even than having Emberson
Just huge to have those. You just stay with your same guy.
Yeah, it just
right as opposed
that's
to rotating.
What the luxury of having Vegas does a lot of time. But yeah, I was thinking about that, Cass. But if you're gonna pick that, I have to go with Kapanen. Like big, strong, fast, and crushing guys. Like hitting through people. He was a menace out there. It's too bad he didn't. Those 2 chances to score.
He had some great looks.
Man, he just ripped one off the shoulder. One was wide, short side there.
Place would have erupted on that one when he had that time.
Yeah. Like, so that was, and it's obviously that's why we're all not coaching in the NHL because Nabla, again, this time of year, I mean, there's been a few hiccups late in games, I think, with personnel choices to be out there, but lineup changes and getting stuff out of guys. He's hitting it all right to get that extra little bit of juice out of guys that maybe haven't seen the ice in a long time.
Kasperi Kapanen pops up over on the nasty chat. Says, thank you, Gager. He knows what's up. So there you go. That's a good. I don't know who's on those accounts, but they are funny to me. There was that one sequence from Nurse, and I mean he just wasn't on his knees or belly much yesterday. But there was the one sequence. A puck went over. I can't remember if it came around behind the net or they moved it over from the point down to like the left half wall, and he went over, played the body there, then headed right back to the front of the net and blew a guy up right at the edge of the crease and put him on his ass too. And I thought, man, Nurse was nasty last night.
But that's what you need from him.
I know. When I saw that, I said, if he feels more comfortable playing with Stetcher and that's it, then, I think I would agree with both you guys. I think, Cass, you had the right answer. The Stetcher thing and the stabilizing of the blue line, probably a big one. But I know it's weird that getting Stetcher next to you can make Nurse play. I don't think it was just that. I think he realized he needed to be more physical, and he's one of the guys who sets the tone for this team when it comes to a playoff game, right? So,
it's funny because we've talked about it, and there's 2 books on the thought of laying down and things, and I follow Mike Commodore on the X Machine, and he was echoing the same statements that why are you spending so much time on your knees? You're so much more of an effective defenseman when you're on your own. What he said was Nurse is such a great skater. Like he is. He's a fantastic skater. Why would you take away your greatest asset by not using your feet? And when he's on his feet, he's a menace. And that's what happened last night.
780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Club Pickard over there says just a power forward body check festival last night. And I think Podkolzin had 5 or 6, Kane had 4 or 5, Frederick had 4 or 5, Kapanen had 5. Like those guys, it was when the game started and the lines weren't what they were rolling out at practice, which we said that yesterday when they rolled them out. I was like, I don't think they're going to go with this. But when Eichel, I was watching who's coming off the over the boards for the second shift of the game, and I saw Eichel come over. I said, okay, let's see what happens here. And Draisaitl came over with Kapanen and Podkolzin. I looked over, I leaned over to Marshall. I said, this is interesting, but they were excellent. Eichel is so good with the puck. Oh my God! Like he gets in the offensive zone. He's not even moving his feet, and he's just slowly.
He's so slick.
He's smooth.
So it's so nice.
I don't know if you watch. Like there was the one shot he put off the post. Eichel. But the way he releases the puck, like the area of his stick where it comes off of, it was way closer to the heel of his stick. Like it was a weird spot, but it was like as he was mid flex, like mid shot, he basically adjusted. Like I think where he was shooting, the lane closed a little bit, and he just kind of opened his blade at the end and put it off the middle part of the blade instead of closer to the toe, which is where you usually shoot with that kind of shot. But like I watched it and then I watched it again. I was just like, oh man, like the way that puck comes off his stick. It's not surprised that it beat Skinner and it hit the post and didn't go in, obviously, which is a great thing. But man, oh man, I was blown away at the adjustment mid flex, like from a hand standpoint and a skill standpoint.